For the last half decade, the real estate landscape has been in major turmoil and change, which is good. Change is always good, right? 20 years ago, Zillow came on board and change is good, right? Everything about change is good for everybody, right? And that's good. What we don't want to see is old dinosaurs like the National Association of Realtors hanging on to their belief system when it really doesn't help anybody but their own coffers. I said it. I said it. I mean it. I said it a long time ago. It's not like that's news, but let's talk about what's going on. There are going to be some big changes happening, and 2 articles today that I'll be working on. So let's get into it. We've been talking about that for the last, I don't know, since I've been on video. We need to build more homes, period. We need to build more homes that match the growth of our population, not just the birth, but the people that are moving here, legally or illegally. We need people living here. Our population is continuing to grow. And it doesn't matter if they're here legally or illegally. The point is, economically, we need more doors. We need more bedrooms. We need more housing to fill in the gap of people that are living in these places. Building apartments, building condos and townhouses, multi-story townhouses. I guess that's going to be the new norm. You buy a new home in San Jose and it's a 3-story behemoth with a 13 by 20 foot backyard. That's the normal because there's just not enough land. And whatever land they do buy, a developer does buy, is precious. It's very expensive. So instead of putting 6 houses on an acre, now they're putting 10 houses on an acre. And that hurts you as a consumer, but a lot of consumers don't really care because they don't want the lawns, the landscape, the front lawn, right? They're okay parking and living and then eating and then going to sleep, and then going to work. I'm selling a house just like that in Hayward right now. If you want a front yard and a backyard, great. There's houses like that. But if you want it new, it's going to be like what I showed you before. I'll tell you that right now. Not professional looking to me, but again, I'm not shaving. My hair's all a muss. I just got back from the gym though. Anyway, the CEO of Move Inc., which owns Realtor.com, announced a resolution for 2020. So let's recommit ourselves to shared purpose and unite us, fighting access to the American homeowner, fighting for access. Move Inc.'s News Corp, the whole wallpaper, citing supply shortage. Look, we need homes to be built. And granted, we might be in a slowdown right now. The economy could crash, but guess what? It could last a year, it could last 5 years, but after that, we're going to be in economic growth. The economists right now are stating that we're going to go into an economic boom. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what the future holds for us, but economists seem to think that the economy is going to boom. I don't know. The pandemic was a huge thirst trap for a lot of people. Sub 4%, 80% of the home, 80% of mortgage owners right now are sub 4%. How can you justify going to another house and paying 7% or even 6% or even 5%? It just doesn't make sense. On top of that, when they bought, even though they paid a lot of money, they paid a premium for a house in 2021, it has increased in value. So yeah, they could sell their house and then move into another house, but then their incomes, their rates going up, their mortgage is going up, their taxes are going up, the insurance is going up. So really, why would they move? The answer is we can't really rely on those houses that were sold. Yes, there will be some through death, through divorce, through layoffs, what have you. But that is going to be a small population of the homes that come for sale today. The new homes are where it's going to be, especially in high demand markets like Santa Clara County and Palo Alto. Santa Clara County is a high volume area too, and we're not seeing a huge rock on the loss of value over the last 6 months. Yesterday, I said we did see a little bit, but that was only in certain areas on the east side of 87 or the east side of San Jose proper. So until politicians come up with some sort of legislations that help people that make an average income of $70,000 afford a house that's $400,000, or maybe they make lower income houses. The average income in The US is $70,000. You can't afford to live in Santa Clara County if you make $70,000. So we're talking about people that live in, I don't know, St. Louis or little areas. So just keep that in mind. There's going to be incentives for developers to buy property and to develop for lower income, not low income, not subsidized income, but low income. There's going to be a happy in between. Right now, especially in the Valley, especially in the Bay Area, it's foolish for a developer to buy something where it's, I don't know, $1.5 to $2 million for an acre of land or a half an acre of land, and then put another house on it. They're not going to do low income there. It just doesn't make sense. Any kind of development community like the KBs that are happening over on Communication Hill, I don't see that as an answer because more people can't afford houses than can afford houses. So there's going to be this thing where if you have an entire development, you get massive tax incentives or something to build for lower income. That's subsidize your profit somehow. Anyway, that's that. Probate and estate sales, we talk about that all the time. Big business for me right now. I have a few people that I'm working with right now, getting their parents into elder care or active adult communities. So if it's something you want to learn more about, it's a big process. It's an arduous process, and let me help you do that. Big changes could be coming to real estate in 2026. This is a prediction by Dave Gallagher at the Real Estate News Network. And buyers agent commissions settlements could be overturned. If you remember a couple of years back, we had that lawsuit. Now it's like $1 million or $1 billion. And basically a class action lawsuit only benefited the class action lawyers. Yeah, because everybody else, if you're a plaintiff, you made like $2,500. So it's a total waste of everything. And it screwed everybody else up. Here's what's probably going to happen. We're going to revert back to the old way, and we're going to be able to say, hey, we're going to offer you X amount commission, period. We'll put it in your offer and let's see what happens. But understand that is the total outcome, the bottom line that makes sense to my seller. So if you're competing against another house, another offer, and your offer is $10,000 less total in, you're screwed, even though you might be like 2% or 1% offered to the buyer's commission, or the buyer's even paying the commission. That's a huge thing. So I don't really work with a lot of buyers today, mostly because the system's whacked up and I'm settling out to see what happens. And NAR will continue shifting its efforts to make rules for multiple listing services to advocacy. Guys, the way it's set up right now is I'm a realtor. I don't like to claim it because this whole NAR thing has really proven to me that they don't care about anything but filling their coffers. They spent $800,000 on a logo rebrand. I know it takes time, it takes money to make money, but they're a nonprofit. They're supposed to be a not-for-profit. How much money does everybody make in those upper echelons? They don't really care about the realtors. They don't even care about the little people, the cogs that are working inside of NAR. And they don't care about the client. I can tell you that because I have never seen a direct line of impact from NAR to helping a client. I just don't see it. They talk about it. They say we help, but I don't see it. I don't see that direct line. And I challenge them to show us what that line is. How do you, in fact, help the client? How do you help the consumer, the home buyer and the home seller? How do you help them? So anyway, we're trying to make it so that make it easier rules, fair, without getting sued again because they're afraid of getting sued because they owe like $800 million. MLSs will be able to set their own rules. And here's what's going to happen. Like in Santa Clara County, there's 2 MLSs, but there's also Alameda, there's San Mateo, there's MLSs everywhere. And if MLS A in Santa Clara County says you have to be an NAR, oh, that's the other thing is in order to be a member of an MLS, you have to be a local board member on either SCORE or Silvar. Then you have to be California Association of Realtors, and you have to be an NAR associate or member or whatever. And I have to pay dues to all of that. If I had a choice, I would say I give up my brand of realtor because I don't really use it. I don't really care for it. And the last couple of years have besmirched the value of what a realtor is. If MLS A tells me I have to be a MLS, an NAR member, and MLSB says I don't, guess where I'm going to go? Path of least resistance for me. I'm willing to give up my brand as a realtor because people know me as Vito, the real estate agent, all knowing guy that does videos and sends out REWTF posts. I haven't branded myself as a realtor for a very long time, although I am. And the only thing that they have to say is that we belong to, or we all adhere to a list of ethic things, and there's no enforcement. That's the other thing that pisses me off. I think government needs to stay out of the fingers of it. They can provide legislation and oversight, but getting their fingers into government housing only winds up creating ghettos. And I'm not saying it as a bad thing. It just, when you give people too much, they expect it and they become dependent on it. And then there's a latency on it and it doesn't help anybody. And that's just my point of view. Government housing needs to bow out and just jurisdictionally govern by regulation only. Sticking their fingers into anything. Look at the post office. You're paying $1 for a freaking letter these days. It's ridiculous. It costs less to print than to mail. That's because the government has their fingers in it. I can go on and on, but there you go. Highs and lows. Tuesday, high and low of the first one of the year. This one is Rebecca Lane, not my listing. It came in a little bit under list price, $5.35 million, 4,600 square foot on a 1.25 acre lot in Los Altos Hills. It's nice, except for those little Philomena statues. Get rid of that. It's nice. Do they have a floor plan? Nope, no floor plan. Okay. The lowest priced house, or the lowest sold house, $663,000, not my listing, Suffolk, 1376 Suffolk. No lane, no drive. That's weird. 95127 near Capitol Expressway. I think this is a great buy for anyone that needs to get into a house. $663,000. If you find houses around there right now, that's a great buy. Morning. Highest list price of sales price ratio of the year so far is this one right here on Eileen Drive in 95129 San Jose, $2.6 million. I think it was 131% over list price. Isn't that crazy? 31% over list price. Took 5 days to sell. Just goes to show if you list it low, you'll sell it fast. It's the lowest list price to sales price ratio, which was 60.6% of original list price. Originally listed at 1.7, sold at just over $1 million. This is State Street in El Viso. I've sold homes in El Viso. It's not a very attractive area, although you are close to the marina. You're close to the Bay Area, the Bay, which is nice. It's just getting to it's sticky, but it is what it is. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,700 square feet, built in 1940. Take a quick look inside. Wow, you got a plat map. That's great. Actually, it looks like it's 2 parcels. That totally makes 0 sense to me. That's a shack, boy. I tell you, what in the world are you talking about? That is making no sense whatsoever. Okay, I'm confused. And this is the Los Gatos home of the week. Is Cypress Way. I think we talked about it before. That's seeming familiar, but it's brand spanking new, $4.28 million. Cypress Way, not my listing. 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 2,600 square feet, built in 2025. Let's take a quick look inside. Again, everything you're looking at has just been installed. Nobody's ever lived there. Look, they took it and make it a portrait or postage stamp lot. You don't get a whole lot of backyard. And a lot of people don't care about that because they'd rather have more home, especially when in the $4 million range, right? But at least they put a floor plan together, and thank you for doing that. And then here is your recap. Average highest sold price was $10 million. Price to sales price ratio, the average price to sales price ratio in Santa Clara County for single family homes is 96.8%. So just a little bit under, but we're still seeing a lot of homes sell for over. Just on the average, it came down a little bit. Told you we had a price correction. There's your proof. 671 is the average. I think our lowest was like 330. The highest list price to sales price ratio was 100. The average lowest list price to sales price was 70% on the average. And then this is January 6th, which is today. The highest sold price was 5.3 million, off to a mediocre start at 95 on the average, 95 cents on the dollar. Lowest sold price was 663 and 85% list price to sales price ratio. So there's a lot of deals to be had. I think we're going to see in the next couple months things turn around. Highest list price to sales price ratio is 131, and we already saw that. The highest one for sale is still 25 million. The lowest for sale is 279,000. This is off in Gilroy up in the mountains, and we have 539 homes for sale. On the average last year, we had 1,000. We need to be at 2,000. And we have 85 price reductions. These are all leftovers from last year, which is 15%. It's come down considerably, but also so has the actives have withdrawn or gone into sale or expired. So you have a number of actives. We did sell a lot of houses over the last 7 days. 75 homes went into contract. In 4 weeks, we'll be able to see what that turns out to be. But here we are. I want to push this out real quick. Santa Clara County, single family home, active versus price reductions, MLS listings. In May, we had, I think this is June. Yeah, May 20th when we peaked. And then these are actives. You can see that. And then you can see the ratio sandwich up a little bit and sandwich down, but it came drastically closer.